Hi everybody. Today is day 16 of my 40-day master cleanse. Um, so things are going really well. I actually played, I'm a musician, and I played a show last night for 4 hours, and it's really funny actually. So we had a $100 bar tab, and I obviously couldn't eat or drink anything. So I was telling the girl that I was doing a cleanse. Um, Meanwhile, my boyfriend and partner, who plays with me in my band, ordered 2 pounds of chicken wings and 6 beers. And so yeah, I was telling the bartender that I was doing this cleanse, and she was like, "You haven't eaten in 15 days?" And she went around and told everybody, "This girl hasn't eaten in 15 days!" And they all made a big thing about it. But anyway, so yeah, I did play the violin for 4 hours almost last night, and I was standing up the whole time. And obviously, you need a lot of energy to do that. And I didn't have any problem. I prepared 2 liters of the lemonade and brought it with me. So I was sort of drinking it as I went, and by the end of the night, I was definitely tired, but no more tired than I would have been if I had been eating. So definitely it is possible to work and to, I think, go about relatively normal daily functions, I think, even when you're doing the master cleanse. But obviously it is nicer if you have some vacation time. But yeah, so things are going well. Day 16, I'm really proud of where I've come so far. I think that day 16 is, even if I had to stop tomorrow, I think that 16 days it's a pretty good amount of time to cleanse your system. My mom is a religious studies professor, and she keeps telling me that 40 days is just made up, and it just comes from Jesus doing his fast, and that there's no scientific evidence behind 40 as a number other than just religious connotation, which is probably true. So I don't know. I kind of, my new goal maybe is 28 days. That's 4 full weeks of cleansing, and then there's about a week after you're finished your cleanse that you're still sort of cleansing. You're introducing food back into your diet, but it takes about a week. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but I'm going for 21 days right now, and then I'll probably try for 28 days, and we'll see how things are going. So it's been almost 6 days now since I've taken an antihistamine. So I mentioned in my last video, I think, that I had taken one 2 days ago, and I haven't taken one since. So maybe 5. Today's day 5, I think, that I haven't taken any type of antihistamine, which is the longest I've gone since I started the cleanse. Other than this, the longest I've been able to go is 3 or 4 days before I had to take an antihistamine. So I definitely still have dermographism. It's just totally copable. It's few and far between. A lot of the time, I'll be telling someone that I have dermographism, and in order to show them, I actually have to, put a scratch on my arm or something, because usually that would never happen. Usually I would have marks all over me, and I would just show them my skin. So it's definitely clearing up. It's definitely getting better. And it is, I think, relatively normal for, if you scratch your arm, there's going to be a red mark. What happens to me is that there's a red mark, but then it's raised, and it's actually a line of hives. So instead of, I don't really get dots of hives, I just get these lines of hives. So it is definitely going away, and it's not nearly as itchy when things are touching my skin. I may have another really bad bout of it, and I'll be forced to take an antihistamine, but it has definitely improved quite a lot. My yeast overgrowth, I think that it's definitely better. I don't really have any way of knowing whether or not it's been killed off. Basically, what I've read online is that it takes around 6 months of a strict anti-Candida or anti-yeast diet and cleanse in order to rid your body of the yeast. So it does take a long time before it's all sort of, everything's back in balance. And it has only been 16 days. So, you know, I'm sure that things will get better and better. So I wanted to share with you, I found a really great resource online called thecandidadiet.com. So it's literally thecandidadiet.com. So this is a massive online resource that has tons of different info about Candida overgrowth, how to treat it, and it is, you know, there's a little message at the bottom that says this statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. So it is definitely an alternative or all-natural way of curing it, but there is an entire section on resources. So at the very bottom, if you're like me and you want to make sure that everything's credible before you sort of, you know, take in all the info, scroll down to the bottom of the page, and at the very bottom on the right-hand side in the center, there's a little link that says resources. And if you click resources, every single source that they use for their, I guess, like, advice or treatments, it's all documented, and a lot of it is, you know, like books, medical books, like Oxford University Press is a common. They're not just random, you know, like websites. It's all cited properly, and most of them are texts or essays with, you know, authors and doctors, and so it's definitely probably the most credible website that I've come across. So at the top of the page, you have about Candida, and then there's all kinds of stuff, just like allergies in Canada is a whole separate headline, and it talks about how if you do suffer from yeast overgrowth, you're much more susceptible to severe allergies and sensitivities to your environment. There's oral thrush, Candida and weight gain, which I've also talked to you guys about. So if you are suffering from yeast overgrowth, sudden and very stubborn weight gain occurs in a very short amount of time, and it's very, very difficult to get rid of. And basically what the sources say is that no diet will work, no amount of exercise will work, because what's happening is when the yeast dies naturally in your body, so what happens when you have a yeast overgrowth, you have yeast in your body that dies constantly, and then you have yeast that's like growing or I guess like reproducing, and as the yeast dies, all of that nasty toxic crap that's eliminated is stored in your fat cells. So what happens is your fat cells are literally swollen with toxins. So your body fat doesn't change, or it's not that you're gaining fat, it's that your body is literally storing crap. That's what's happening. And obviously, if you know anything about fat cells, your fat cells are just sort of this cushion or something in your body, and it just sucks everything in that's bad. So when your organs, like your liver, become over, I guess, like toxic, so if you're an alcoholic, for example, often alcoholics gain weight because their livers become full of crap, and the liver can't process all the toxins. The toxins get stored in the fat cells. So it also talks about Candida symptoms, what causes Candida, what is Candida. It talks about chlorine and how chlorine can affect your immune system and your Candida overgrowth. And then, really interesting, so there's a section called the Candida diet. So this is what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about. So the Candida diet, according to this website, there's 3 steps. So the first step is a very strict cleanse. So it just says cleansing. So when you click on cleansing, there's 2 or 3 different cleanses that they sort of say helps get rid of the Candida. And they recommend going for between 14 and 21 days. And it's actually extremely similar to the Master Cleanse. It's very minimal. It's basically like, it's not juice because you're not using fruit, but it's like garlic, ginger, broth, like beef broth. There's no solid food at all. So, you know, and there's 2 or 3 different types of cleanses that they say you can do. And then there's other alternative forms of cleansing like the Master Cleanse that sort of do a similar process. So that's step 1. So step 1 is you cleanse your body. Now, this website says that when you're doing step 1, you shouldn't take any type of tinctures or antifungals. So I've been taking my caprylic acid, I've been taking my tinctures, I've been taking my olive leaf extract. So this source says when you're doing a cleanse, you should avoid taking any type of antifungals. Just let your body concentrate on the cleanse. So I don't know what to do about that because I've been taking all that stuff and I do feel like it has helped. Yesterday I lowered my dose, but I still took everything. So today I think what I'm going to do is just lower my doses instead of taking, because I've been taking sort of the max amount basically now of everything that I can be. So step 2 is a very, very strict diet. So I'm going to make a separate video, I think, in a couple days about the diet. Basically, you can't really eat anything other than meat, fruit, no fruit, vegetables, so you can eat meat, vegetables, certain types of nuts and seeds. And then there's like eggs, and then there's other proteins you can eat. But you can't eat any type of sugar, so fruit is included. Carbohydrates, every type of carbohydrate, every type of condiment, like the list is endless, so I'm going to make a separate video. But basically you follow a very strict diet for a month, between a month and 6 months, and then step 3 is reintroducing foods. And the reintroducing foods is like foods like goat cheese, so foods that are, or potatoes, right? You can't eat potatoes during step 2 because potatoes is a starch and it causes a bunch of sugar to spike in your body. So step 3 includes potatoes. So, but still no like refined white bread or anything like that. Coming from someone who has tried a number of different diets and has tried eliminating gluten, has tried eliminating meat, has tried eliminating dairy, this doesn't seem too daunting to me just because I've done it so many times, except for the fruit. So you're not allowed to eat any fruit, basically like 0 fruit when you're doing it, just because the fructose, I think, is it, or fructose, or it's sucralose, but fruit sugar. The fruit sugar is still sugar, and your system processes it as such, and it can definitely cause your yeast to not die the way you want. But if you do have any type of concern, or if you're just wanting to read more about Candida, if you think you have it, definitely check out thecandidadiet.com because it's pretty intense and there's lots of information, and it's presented in a very straightforward way. It also talks about probiotics, it talks about yeast die-off, which I've mentioned, it talks about different antifungals you can get at your health food store, which I've mentioned, and the ones that I've mentioned to you are on the list, like black walnut, oregano oil, olive leaf, Oregon grape, garlic is on the list, caprylic acid is on the list, so I'm definitely on the right track, I think. There's also a whole section of recipe ideas, and there's a list of what you can eat on the diet and when you can't eat on the diet. There's also a forum, there's a store, like there's tons of information. So I don't know, if you're bored you can just turn the video off, but there are a number of different that I want to read to you. The symptoms, okay. So Candida symptoms, so if you think you have a type of Candida symptom, so these are the symptoms, and it's pretty insane. So the way you feel: inability to focus, poor memory, brain fog, irritability, anger, dizziness, depression, crying spells, panic attacks, low libido, persisting extreme fatigue, hyperactivity, cravings for sweets and alcohol, insomnia, poor coordination, your digestive system, acid reflux, bloating, flatulence, nausea, diarrhea, constipation, stomach cramps, indigestion, burping after meals, mucus in stools, hemorrhoids, itching anus. Your skin: acne, cysts, hives, night sweats, psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, dermatitis, fungal infections of the nails and skin, athlete's foot, body odor, your mouth, thrush, which is a white coating on the tongue, swollen lower lip, halitosis, metallic taste in mouth, bad breath, canker sores, bleeding gums, cracked tongue, your respiratory system, persistent cough, mucus in throat, sore throat, sinus congestion, chronic post-nasal drip, flu-like symptoms, hay fever symptoms, asthma, your eyes and ears, eye pain, itchy eyes, sensitivity to light, which I've talked about that I experienced, blurred vision, bags under eyes, ringing in the ears, which I also have really badly, ear infections, reoccurring yeast infections, reoccurring UTIs, cystitis, which is inflammation of the bladder, PMS and menstrual irregularities, fungal rash, your immune system, frequent colds and flus, allergies, sensitivity to food, fragrance and chemicals, which I experience all of, your weight, inability to lose weight, water retention, and then there's also extreme sudden weight loss is the opposite end, which is a symptom. Other symptoms, headaches, heart palpitations, chronic body pain and or joints, muscle aches and stiffness. And then it also talks about a number of different diseases that doctors often think is what's causing your symptoms, but it's actually not, it's yeast overgrowth. So those are included in IBS, arthritis, chronic fatigue syndrome, diaper rash, athlete's foot, Crohn's disease, and then, you know, there's more. So basically what I'm predicting is in a year or 2 or maybe 5, you're going to start seeing symbols on your food in the grocery store. This is antifungal, this is anti-Candida, this is anti-yeast. This is, yeast overgrowth is, I think, just coming to the surface, and I think that it's a huge problem, and I think a lot of people are suffering from a minor or mild form of it, and they just don't know it. And so what happens is, if you just let it get away, or if your doctor says, oh no, it's fine, it's just a diaper rash, which I've actually experienced. I've gone to outpatients and showed them rash on my butt, and they've said, oh no, that's nothing, totally normal, take this, whatever, use this product over the counter. What happens is you go to the doctor and they tell you something and it isn't what it is, and then it just gets worse and worse, because the longer the yeast has in your body, the more it's going to overgrow. So I predict in 5 years you're going to start seeing symbols for like anti-yeast on your food. And people are going to be like, oh yeah, I'm on the anti-Candida diet, just like gluten sort of has come about, and veganism too, which has been around for longer. But gluten is definitely an example where, you know, 10 years ago everyone was like, what the hell is that? And now everyone seems that they can't eat gluten. So yeah, so this is already 17 minutes long, so this is the longest video I've done in a while. But all is well with me. I have lots of energy. I'm feeling good. I'm moving forward. Day 16, going for day 21, and then hopefully day 28, and then hopefully maybe even 40. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll make another video tomorrow. I'm going to talk more about the Candida diet and what it is specifically and what you can and can't eat. So yeah, have a great day. See you later.